Hey, what's going on, everyone? DBougie86 here again, and it's that time of the month again. I'm doing my update video for everything I picked up in the month of January, which was kind of a interesting month. I got a few good things I want to show you guys, and the way I'm gonna do this is because I want to really talk about the ones that I loved, like the stuff that I bought. I'm gonna do this in two parts. I'm gonna do the DVDs first because of my the way I do upload these videos. It's not really, when I do like over 30 minutes, it doesn't really record or it goes on YouTube. It only goes for like a few minutes, which I don't know. I think it's just the app that I use because I don't know, but whatever. Because I actually want to talk about some of the stuff that I got and what I thought about it, and because I did watch some of these. And alright, so we're going to start with the DVDs first. First, I'm going to start with a few DVDs I got in through either like people sent them to me as gifts, or I actually bought off people. Well, the first thing I'm going to show you guys is, if you all if you know the channel of Retro Slasher, who's actually a friend of mine, Andy. He's actually from the same state as I am, and he does a lot of good slasher reviews and stuff. He's actually a member, the newest member of Body Bags too. He's actually doing really well in Body Bags, so check out Body Bags. I'll leave the link below for his channel and Body Bags. I'm the Wednesday host. He's actually the Tuesday host. So yeah, we're doing strong with Body Bags right now. And with that being said, I won his contest. I won third place, which I was fine with it because I actually owned a lot of I owned the Killer Workout Blu-ray, so that worked out fine for me that I didn't win that. I didn't really care for the other one. I'm glad other people won and stuff for like the bigger prizes, because which is cool. But I actually, his choice with third place was a DVD of a choice. It was a few picks, and the one that I picked off him is one that I have seen before, but I actually didn't own it in my collection. I actually enjoyed this film a lot, and that's a Drive-Thru. He actually texted me that the case was broken because of the place where he got it. I know that place. I got broken cases from that place. So he just replaced the case, which was cool. I was fine with it. The disc is fine and shit. It's just the case was fucked up. Oldies, you know how that place goes sometimes. And yeah, Drive-Thru, which I never owned. I actually like the slasher. It's a fun one from the early 2000s with interesting, like about the fast food industry and shit, and really fun. I like the killer, Horny the Clown, fucking hilarious name for a killer. And the funniest thing about this is, if you haven't seen this, with the fast food aspect of it, the actual, like, the manager of the fast food restaurant in the film is played by Morgan Spurlock, who you probably know from Super Size Me and shit. So I thought that was a really neat fucking thing that they did in the film. Yeah, if you haven't seen Drive-Thru, I actually recommend this film. It's a really fun, interesting early 2000 slasher. He also actually threw in a film, an indie film that he actually picked up at a convention in Mass. We have The Rock and Shock. He actually just threw. I think he actually didn't care for the film, to be honest. It's kind of low budget, and it has a low budget cast in it, and that is Bite School, which I could see. It kind of does look like a low budget film from the back cover. It has Ron Jeremy and Herschel Gordon Lewis in it. Who knows how big their parts are in the film? I'll give it a spin because I actually like low budget shit, as you can tell if you've seen my reviews and shit, and the shit that I usually pick up in my updates. But that was cool that he threw it in. I'll give it a try. Who knows? Give it a try. Bite School. And that was it that Andy sent me, Retro Slasher. I'll leave the link below for his channel. Check him out. And then, if you know, I'm part of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror Facebook group. where they had this guy Ron. He was actually selling a few things. I made a deal with him and shit. We did like 3 DVDs for 10. I think that's what it was. And I grabbed a few titles from Ron. It was a cool guy that he got to work out deals with and stuff. He's actually a really cool dude and shit. And the first one I picked up was Shredder, which is another early 2000s slasher that I didn't own in the collection. I remember watching this all the time on like cable, like on demand service. I believe this was on. This usually is on like Impact, which is like owned by MGM, which this came out by. And I never got a chance to grab a copy of this. It's a really interesting slasher that takes place on like a ski resort, and the killer and snowboarding and shit. Really interesting. I actually really enjoy this film. I think it's a little underrated, to be honest, from the time period. It's probably the time it came out in, because the slasher genre was kind of like in this weird phase back then in the early 2000s, because from the 90s and stuff, it was trying to kick itself back into course and shit with the 90s slashers. Yeah, but this is a fun one if you haven't seen Shredder. I like the setting of that one. Another one I picked up was from Ron is The Day After, which is a post-apocalyptic film that I've been holding off. I heard a lot about this film, like growing up and shit. I never actually got a copy of it for myself. So I finally got a copy of The Day After, which I haven't seen before, so I'll be checking that one out soon. And another one I picked up was the last one is it's kind of like a sci-fi film. I actually read this book in high school and I never saw the film for it. Very interesting. It's based off George Orwell's novel. It stars John Hurt, who we all know from like Alien and The Elephant Man, and Richard Burton, who is a classic actor. We might probably know him more from like horror fans from like The Exorcist 2, which isn't really a great film by any means, but I'm thinking of like other films that he did. Like he did a few like maybe like horror related films. I'm trying to remember the titles of them, but yeah. But this film is 1984. I know. I believe actually Twilight Times just put this out recently on Blu-ray. It was one of their releases, which I wasn't gonna grab that because I not really a big Twilight Times fan. They get a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong and shit, but it's just the prices fucking kill me and shit. I do like some of their releases and shit. I actually own one of them. I own the Blob, but other than that, it's something that it's a company that I don't really go out of my way to grab all their shit. They do release a lot. They actually a few titles recently that I almost played the trigger on. I won't lie, but I held back. So 1984. And the last of the stuff that I got for DVDs, anyways, I got a few things. The things that stuff that I got was from W. I did an unboxing of. If you saw my unboxing video, I got 3 things from W. And the first thing I got was Grabbers, which is a IFC Midnight. If you haven't seen this, is like an Irish creature feature. It's actually a really fun film. If you like your creature features like I do, this one's a blast. It's really good, and I really like the creatures in this one. Really great fucking premise and shit. Awesome shit. He also got me Eaten Alive, the 2-disc Dark Sky films. I probably will grab the Arrow down the line. It's one that I'll probably grab later now, but because I collect Dark Sky films, because from what I've been seeing lately and a lot of things, like all the old Dark Sky film releases are going out of print. Like Trilogy of Terror just went out of print, which sucks because I didn't grab that one, and it's going for crazy money right now and shit. and there's a few like Tragic Ceremony and shit that I didn't grab. I hope they do get re-releases down the line. But I think this one might go out of print too from them, since Arrow has the Blu-ray rights now for it. So Live, which was a good steal in my opinion. Thank you, W, for that. And the last thing he got me, I thought this was cool. I know they released a standard edition of this. I didn't even know this existed. And this is like a 10 of like this Roger Corman, the sci-fi triple feature with Attack of the Crab Monsters, War of the Satellites, and Not of this Earth. I know they have like a standard edition. You've probably seen them like the Roger Corman Classics line. But it's just the discs inside like that in the 10. Which I thought was cool. It's kind of a cool like set. It's actually one of the better, like I know like Mill Creek has 10s like this too, but this is actually well put together and shit, because I got a Mill Creek one and like all that felt shit's all over the disc and shit. But they have those discs like stacked on top of each other too in those usually. So I actually dig this. So W, you're the man. Awesome. And these are the DVDs I picked up myself. The first ones, if you haven't seen the thumbnail, is I grabbed all 3 of the Lust of the Dead films. I knew of these films. I actually haven't seen any of them. I actually watched the first one when I got them in. It's not for everyone, I won't lie. It's kind of like sleazy fucking Asian zombie shit. And then, yeah, Lust of the Dead 1. I found these are actually from a director that I actually got another one of his films that you'll see later in the DVDs. It's weird how I had these stacked up. And that director's name is Naoki Tuamatsu. I have another one of his films. It's one of his earlier films before these ones. Which doesn't make sense, because the quote on this that Tokyo Shock put on was the first ever zombie movie made in Japan. But the film that is one of his earlier films is actually a zombie film, so that's a fucking weird like tagline to put on the back of your film. Yeah, I can't really show you the back because it's like ultra sleazy and shit. Oh god. And this has Asami's in these films. She made it big with Gun Woman, and she's been in a lot of like these batshit crazy Japanese films before. Gun Woman, like Lindenborough, Gucci. She was in The Machine Girl, and she does a lot of cameos in those films too, like Zombie Ash. I think she was one of the zombies in it, and she was in Mutant Girl Squad. Actually, she had like a smaller role, and yeah, so can't wait to check out the sequels of these. So Lust of the Dead 1. Fun time if you like you're out of the batshit crazy Japanese shit. Lust of the Dead 2, which I still have to watch. Interesting covers on the backs of these. And Lust of the Dead 3. Yeah, you know what you're gonna get with these. Yeah. Good sleazy Asian shit right there. Alrighty, next one I grabbed was actually one that I've been meaning to grab for a while. I was just waiting for it to go down. I bit the bullet because it was actually, I found a good price on this on eBay. And that's Evils of the Night, which is one of the, I believe this is actually the first like release of Gorgon Video. This is actually the first one they ever like put out and shit, like again after putting anything out for a while, because they were a big like VHS. And I really dig Gorgon and shit, and this is actually a really interesting like 80s film that I never saw. It has Aldo Ray and Julie Newmar and John Carradine and Neville Brand and shit. Really, really interesting 80s flick. I do recommend this if you haven't grabbed this shit. Awesome shit right there. Another one I finally grabbed was Roger Corman's cult classic. It's actually the remake of the one in that 10 that I have, and that is the Tracy Lords film Not of This Earth, the Jim Warnowski remake. Now I actually changed the case with this one because the fucking case that this came in was fucked up and shit. Like missing a big gap. And I was thinking like it was cracked and inside. It wasn't. They just packaged it like that. So it was Shout Factory's fault. It wasn't like the person that I ordered it from or and shit. Because there was no like pieces missing and shit. And it was in the plastic still. It wasn't like it was a brand new disc and shit. The disc was fine, so I just changed the case. I actually found an extra clear case. I actually just changed it out of a movie I didn't really care for, and I'm probably never going to watch it again, to be honest. But I actually ordered a new thing of clear cases because I have a few clear cases and shit that have little cracks and shit in it. It kind of bugs me out, so because I like how they, if you haven't seen these, they have like the Shout Factories, they have like poster arts and covers and shit. I like that little touch. I know people don't really care for clear cases, some people anyways. But whatever, I like them because like a lot of my deep dark skies and even the Gorgons are clear cases. Another two that I grabbed recently, I got these used off Go Hastings. They're actually in pretty good shape, except for one case. It kind of has some dents in it. I'll be changing this case when I get those cases in. And the first one is Ju-on, which I have seen before. Now, my thoughts on the whole Ju-on thing, if you haven't seen this, I actually picked this up for a reason. But I actually like this film and shit, but I think it's kind of overrated. Because if you see like all these J-horror films that come out, they always are compared to either Ringu or The Grudge, and I actually kind of like Ringu a little better than Ju-on. Like, I like the film The Maid that I showed in my underrated films. It had a quote like, "The Sixth Sense meets The Grudge," which could turn people off who don't even like this film, you know what I'm saying? So I don't like how other like J-horror films are compared to Ju-on. That's why I wanted to clear that up, why I say it's overrated. Because those films get compared to Ju-on a lot, especially a lot of the Tartan Asian Extreme line. They have like quotes, like a bunch of them have fucking quotes that say Ju-on meets this film and shit, or Ju-on best like J-horror film since Ju-on. Which I actually like a lot of those films better than Ju-on. Which, this is still a well-made film and shit, don't get me wrong. I think it's just a little overrated. It's not for everyone. I do like this film. I just wanted to clear that up. Brandon. Yep. Talking to you, buddy. And this one I actually haven't seen, which is its sequel to Ju-on, which is Ju-on 2. I'm actually interested because I think this actually has like a kind of a different storyline and shit. I'm interested to see it. I'll give it a chance. I actually like a thing that's like about has like something to do with like pregnancy and shit. I think I'll give it a chance. Ju-on 2. You never know. Next one I picked up, I actually reviewed this film earlier. I actually reviewed this after my 31 Days of Horror. And that is, I finally picked up a physical copy of Slimy Little Bastards, which is Dave Parker's directorial debut. It's a really fun creature feature. I do recommend this. It made my top list of last year. Dave did a really good job in this film. I've been saying, because I'm a big fan of like little monsters and shit, like Dave is. I know he loves this little monster shit. I know Matt actually dug this film too and shit. So I'm glad I have a physical copy of that shit. So, yep. The Slimy Little Bastards. Check it out. Another one I picked up. I've been wanting this one for a while. I did a bunch of UK shit recently. I'm still waiting for some shit to come in. But I've been ordering a lot from the UK lately. And this is actually my first Shameless Entertainment DVD that I picked up. I'm really digging like the yellow artwork and the cases and shit. on these. I might grab a few more of these. I actually dig them. And this one is from the director Dick Moss, who is I believe this is a Dutch film. Yeah, Dutch. And if you don't know who Dick Moss is, he actually directed the film Saint later on in his career, which we all, if you pick up IFC Midnights, it goes under the title Saint Nick or Scent. Has a lot of different names. It goes. I know a few people that show it off, and it's Saint, but the IFC Midnight is Saint Nick, which makes sense because it is kind of like a Saint Nicholas, like different story of him, like Saint Nick character. And this is his slasher film Amsterdam. Really, really interesting slasher. I have to say, I might do a review on this later because I'm actually bringing back It Came from the '80s very soon. I know I've been slacking on that series, and I actually love that series that I did. I have one lined up. I actually was going to record it yesterday, but I got tied up. So I'm going to wait 2 days after this update and record that and share it with you guys. And this one will be part of that series as well. I actually watched this 12 times already. That's how much I enjoyed it. The slasher, the killer in this is actually a diver, if you haven't noticed from the cover art. And it's a really interesting slasher. I do recommend it. So look out for that. I'll give you my full thoughts on that film later on. Next thing I picked up is some Chuck Norris awesomeness. And I grabbed this double feature it was actually really, really cheap, of Good Guys Wear Black and A Force of One. I actually haven't watched this yet, but I love me some Chuck Norris action or films, especially the earlier ones. Like, I think I actually did see Good Guys Wear Black before. It sounds familiar. Yeah, I'll give it a spin. I was actually shocked because 2 discs. Usually when you get double features now, they're on like 1 disc. And it actually has like special features and a making of featurette in both of them. Which is a cool double feature. I paid like $5 for that. Good price. Next thing I picked up was this triple feature actually. And one of them is actually from the director of Lust of the Dead, the guy I said earlier, Naoki Tosamoto. And this is the Nahambi, the complete zombie trilogy, which has some sleazy. And the films on this one are Attack Girls, A Swim Team, Undead. Attack Girl Swim Team versus the Undead, my bad. We got Zombie Self-Defense Force and Zombie Hunter Reeker. That is the order of the films. Zombie Defense Force is actually directed by Naomi Tomatsu also. And yeah, I can't wait to pop these in. It looks like the same, like Lust of the Dead type, like craziness, especially with, it says warning, contains graphic violence and nudity. Ooh. Next one I got is from Naoki Tomatsu too, and this is one of his earlier films from 2001. And this was released by Synapse Films under their Asian Cult Cinema collection. And that is Stacy. I have watched this. If you love your gore and stuff, this is a blast. I really enjoy this. It has some comedic touches to it too. I actually recognized a few of the actors. Like one of the soldiers in the film was like the guy from the Gamera films, like the cop. If you've seen the Gamera trilogy, he's actually in this film. Yeah, I had a blast. There's a lot of references to like earlier zombie films and shit. Filmed a little weirdly. I think it was like it kind of looks like Japanese SOV in a way, like the way they were filming it. But I'm not sure because I think it's a low budget film. I know that much. But yeah, if you like your zombie flick, Stacy, check it out. It's a very interesting film. And this one, if you haven't seen my review on Body Bags, I did a fill-in review for Outsider 365. Check out that review. It's under my Body Bags playlist. And I reviewed Girl House, which I got a copy of Girl House from the UK. Very fun slasher and shit. Really well done. If you haven't seen it, check out my review to know my thoughts on this film. Awesome film right there. And the last thing for the DVDs, I actually haven't watched this in. I watched this yet. I actually got this in earlier in the month. I just kind of put it aside because I've been watching a lot of horror lately. I don't think this one's actually a horror film, and that's The Human Factor from Dark Sky Films, starring George Kennedy. It looks interesting enough. The score's by Ennio Morricone and shit, and I think it's like a revenge film and shit. I'll give it a spin. It looks interesting. I actually like George Kennedy as an actor. So that's it for the DVDs. I'm gonna go upload this now, and hopefully it uploads, and then I'll come back and record my Blu-ray section. So I hope you enjoy the video. Like, subscribe, and comment, and hopefully you watch both parts of this. So I'll see you then. See you next video.